Namapa plans to register a new outfit, all-white party, to act as a third force after CORD and Jubilee. But Bungoma Governor Ken Lusaka has warned that Western Kenya leadership has wasted precious opportunities in past elections whenever they try to run for the presidency as a third force.
We have tried it, by the way, as New for Kenya. We tried the third force aspect in the last general elections, and we were beaten flat-footed. So those are some of the things that people must be very careful about, because unless you properly you strategize well, you could end up just remaining in the middle, and that will be your position.
When Mudavadi was departing ODM in 2012, Abab told him that he was departing from an ocean and retreating into a small swimming pool. And that is exactly what Abab is doing today. One thing we can assure him is that wherever he will go, we will follow him, we will fight him, we will defeat him in the elections. We will make him, if he's going to contest for a parliamentary seat, we will make him a former MP designate.
On Wednesday, ODM leader Raila Odinga met 11 legislators from Western Kenya at his Capitol Hill office to discuss his upcoming visit. Raila plans to make extensive tours of Western Kenya starting July 18th to rally support for ODM and CORD. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
So the abduction and murder of lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri is one that indeed shocked the entire country. But for a community that contributed towards the establishment of the police post believed to have illegally harbored the three men for hours, the suspicion that police officers there could have contributed to the deaths of the three is a chilling revelation. KTN's Timothy Otieno spent time with the residents of Syokimau who narrate the growing concern about their own safety.
The Syokimau police post has been the center of police investigations and a growing media focus for the last few days, and it isn't hard to see why. For within the slowly developing security station, a dark shadow looms. One that on Wednesday saw border operators burn down this container over the murder of their colleague Josephat Mwenda and two others. But the residents of the area are now a worried lot, choosing the same station to hold an impromptu meeting to chart a way forward over the latest developments that have jolted this rather sleepy neighborhood.
It also bothers me that now people for Syokimau feel now insecure.
And for hours, they sit pensively. Humphrey Odhiambo, their resident association chair, who now has the daunting task of quelling any concerns among them that may arise from the fact that the Syokimau police post may have harbored the three now deceased men.
Somebody briefed, actually siphoned petrol from a motorcycle, put it in a Coca-Cola whatever bottle, put fire, and threw it inside the cell.
Humphrey recalls a fire that many here believe has gone a long way in detracting the gains made by police in finding the killers of the three. It's the very first time KTN news cameras are gaining access into this container, the Syokimau Administration Police Camp, where the three are believed to have been held at this section of the camp for several hours following their abduction on the 23rd of June this year. Now, a fire has since razed down this structure, bringing in more questions to an already complicated investigation.
The people who came, I want to send a very strong message to them that you have done bad. You just did bad. You destroyed the evidence, and actually it's like you are happy that happened, because you have killed these people twice again.
The residents' disappointment in the matter caused by the heavy investment they put up in establishing the police post.
We have done two projects, that is this container where we had our officers living there. Then we also have come up with a shelter for the police guys who have been sent here, which goes down to approximately about 700,000 or close to $1 million.
An invite to the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, apparently snubbed, but they say that only fuels their drive to have the police based here remain credible.
Security for us is number one. Even if you burnt the whole place down, we will rebuild it.
And so, even as pressure mounts to find justice for the 3 murdered men, the men and women who reside here and whose hopes of a secure neighborhood they bank on administration police here, such meetings may be the only chance they have of holding those close to them accountable. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
So, who is most likely to become the next Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court? On the last word tonight, Sophia Wanuna hosts 2 panelists to analyze the attributes that could work for or against each of the 7 individuals who by yesterday had applied for the prime position. The application deadline expires tomorrow, even as we do know that a man by the name Bryson Mangla also wants the vacancy left by the former Supreme Court Judge Philip Tunoi to be filled by a woman. And he also hopes that the new Chief Justice will also be a woman. So that is a conversation that you need to watch out for coming right after this bulletin. What are some of the attributes that will be looked at when the country decides who will be the next Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya? Let's remind you of a big question before we take a breather. We're focusing on that Ipsos Innovate poll that was released today that has given President Uhuru Kenyatta 68% approval rating. So we're asking you, do you agree with the poll that says President Uhuru Kenyatta's popularity stands at 68%? Significant improvement from the last poll that they had. So do you agree with the poll that puts President Uhuru's popularity at 68%? Let us know what you think. Begin with a yes or no to your response. Then tweet us at KTN News, at KTN Kenya, and at Linda Ogutu. I'll keep sampling your views during this bulletin, and of course at the tail end as well. Let's take that breather now.
Tweet of the day, in association with Duracoat Silicone Exterior Emulsion Paint.
Candidate. With nearly 12 months before Kenyans go back to the ballot, already pressure started to pile on the CORD leadership to announce to Kenyans who will be the coalition's presidential flag bearer.
We cannot go on with like this. We want as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, latest August this year. We want to know who is going to be the presidential candidate for CORD. Let us bite the bullet.
The complication is how to find a mutually agreeable formula to pick the candidate with the widest national appeal to fly the coalition presidential flag. The preference among the key alliance leaders is that it will be better to have a negotiated nomination instead of a free and fair nomination. Each of the principals insisting that they are best suited to face President Uhuru Kenyatta at the ballot.
Niko na nguvu na niko tayari kutumikia Jamhuri ya Kenya kama rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Mimi nilisimama na Raila, nafasi yake ya kusimama na mimi imefika. Sio kumtoroka.
Nguvu ya nyororo hii ya CORD inategemea uzito wa Ford Kenya, uzito wa Wiper na ODM.
However, the claims that there was an MOU signed between the principals before the 2013 elections that Kalonzo Musyoka will be the coalition's presidential flag bearer and supported by other principals seems to be a time bomb, since those in Wiper believe the MOU should be honored.
And there is a general mood out there in the country that maybe Kalonzo should be given a go at it. You hear a lot of people talking about possible winning scenarios.
My primary support is Raila Odinga. As the chairman of ODM, I have a presidential candidate in the name of Raila Odinga, who is the party leader of ODM.
But even as the 3 principals continue launching various activities to strengthen their strongholds and increase their bargaining power within the coalition, there is still resistance within their mother parties, ODM, Wiper and Ford Kenya, which might affect the unity of the coalition. In ODM, a good number of leaders from Western Kenya, led by Budalangi MP Babuna Mwamba, who recently quit the opposition of Secretary General, are planning to decamp to another party.
We as Wiper are willing to accommodate Ababu. We want to lose nobody. We are willing to have him on board. We are willing to cast the net wide. Wiper is committed to holding this coalition together.
Wiper Party is also facing resistance from its members from Ukambani region who have been threatening to join the ruling Jubilee.
Nataka tukua kwa mstari wa kwanza, tushike hii serikali mkono. Kuna watu ambao wanapiga kelele kule nje. Sisi hatuwezi kula kelele, tutakula maendeleo.
Wewe na raisi, you are the highest bidder. Na kama kuna mtu mwingine anaweka price ingine ya juu kuliko hiyo, then we will consider.
Tunataka maendeleo. Sisi hatutaki fitina, wale wako na fitina tuwaache waendelee na nini?
The Jubilee coalition has taken advantage of the wrangles within the affiliate parties of CORD to woo the disgruntled members to work with Jubilee. Chris Dairo, KTN News.
Lenders in order to exploit Kenya's full geothermal power potential, but is searching for investors who can partner with the government. Ruto spoke as he met with the chairperson of the China Export-Import Bank. Ruto said the greatest progress Kenya has made with the Chinese support is the standard gauge railway construction project.
Additional debt, and we are happy with we were looking at the options that are available, especially in our geothermal generation, where we can partner together, invest together in the development of geothermal, because there is room there and there is scope for investment as opposed to lending. And we would be very keen on looking at that relationship and engagement going into the future.
Just a day after a dormitory building caught fire at Matutu Adventist Secondary School in Nyamira County, another school got its dormitory burnt down by fire. The dorm at Nyamasecho Secondary School at Kenyenya in Kisii County caught fire as students were attending an evening class. Fred Muturi reports.
Some of the parents could not control their tears after looking at the damage caused by the fire that occurred at Nyamasecho Secondary School. This week alone, in Kisii and Nyamira counties, there have been 4 more school fires.
Ngao tumesikia sehemu nyingine shule inaungua, lakini hapa Kisii kwetu mashule mengi yameungua.
The day-to-day school fires in Kisii have turned out to be infectious from one point to the other, a situation that is threatening to throw the education sector in the region off the balance.
It's kind of a wave that is really coming very fast in this country. And we pray that the divine intervention comes in to be able to rest this issue.
Stakeholders are scrambling for answers as Kenyans wonder what is going on.
As a board, we ask the security apparatus to make the investigations into the fires of these schools immediately and release results or the investigation results for public consumption, so that we arrest these kind of situations in good time.
Parents have to carry the burden of renovating and rebuilding the schools after the government issued a stern statement to the community about burning of the schools.
This is your school. You will stay here and repair it with your parents. That is how we will teach you responsibility.
Maombi peke yake ndio inaweza fanya tupoteze hii shida ya kuchoma mashule.
Tunaweza sema kama walimu ya kwamba bado uchunguzi wa kubaini chanzo na kiini haswa cha mioto hii haujafanyika kwa njia ya ukamilifu.
At least 15 schools in Kisii and Nyamira counties have got their dormitories destroyed by fire and property worth millions of shillings turned into flames in the last 5 months. Fred Muturi, KTN News, Kisii.
Let's look at sports now. A fact-finding mission to explore potential areas of partnership in future by the English Premier League side Everton FC to Kenya is expected to be of great benefit to the Football Kenya Federation once a partnership deal is signed in the coming days. FKF President Nick Mwendwa held an initial meeting with officials from Everton FC after they visited the Federation's offices in Kasarani. The high-powered Everton FC delegation was led by the club's Chief Executive Officer Robert Elston.
And they have paid us a courtesy call today to have some discussions around how we can partner in the future and to share some insights in the game with their experience and our vision and how we can work together in the future.
We're very keen to look and see how we can help develop them, whether that's elite players, stars of the future, whether that's around communities and winning hearts and minds and using sport and using football as a force for good to inspire lives and to change lives, or whether it's around general business management around football, whether it's around marketing or commercial matters or safety and stadium management, then I think there's an awful lot of areas we can explore.
That is where we wind up KTN Prime News tonight. Thank you so much for creating time for us. On behalf of Marisha Witi and I, always a pleasure doing this with you. So tomorrow you'll have Betty Callow with Friday Briefing. But right now, Sophia Wanuna is going to have a very interesting conversation on the last word on who is likely to replace Willy Mutunga as the next Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya.